Hey everybody, it's Comedex and welcome back to another premiere draft of Final Fantasy. Without further ado, let's get into our pick one sweet pack here. I'm going to go with the mono card rare. Memories Returning is super cool, super flavorful card, but also a really solid piece of card draw. So for 4 mana, reveal the top 5, put 1 into your hand, then your opponent puts 1 on the bottom, then you put 1 into your hand, then your opponent puts 1 on the bottom. So you end up drawing 3 cards out of the top 5. You get the best card, the third best card, and then the last card as well. So 4 mana, draw 3, already not bad, but you're guaranteed to draw the best card, and you can flash this back again later. This card's pretty sweet card draw. So I like the mono card draw here. There's also Graha Tia, which is a pretty sweet uncommon, drawing a card whenever an artifact or creature dies once per turn. And then Noctis is really fun, but Noctis is really mana restrictive. I like the Memories Returning, fitting to any blue deck. Pick number 2, there's a Furion here. Really strong with the job select equipment. This is a strong enough rare to speculate on, even if it doesn't go super well in blue-red. Blue has some job select cards, and we're early enough in the draft here, we shouldn't be locked in on any of our cards. If we pivot onto Boros equipment, we could still have a really great time from here. So take a Furion. Super strong card. Whoa, pick 3, Ranger Captain of Eos. 3 mana, 3/3. When it enters, search your library for a creature mana value 1 or less, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Really good in a white deck because white has access to Magitech Infantry as a very playable 1-drop. But then you could also sacrifice it and have it so your opponent can't cast non-creature spells this turn. Mainly a 3 mana 3/3 that draws you a card when you play it. This card is really excellent. It's also pretty color restrictive. You need double white, and it's not the colors we're currently drafting, which means that Thunder Magic is very fierce competition. As an excellent red removal spell, it is tiered, so you cast it wherever you need it on the curve. It's very efficient at 1 mana. This is close. These are both sweet cards, but that's a really cool one you're not going to have a lot of opportunities to play with, so I'm going to grab the Knights of Sandoria. Pick number 4, there's another sweet reprint here, Finn the Fangbearer. This one much less playable. Just trying to poison people out with your Death Touchers. It's a pretty great 7-drop. 7 mana is a lot, but 4 2/2s at worst is quite the stat line. And if you have any other creatures on board, you're getting counters on them too, which is kind of sick. So I like the Crystals Chosen here. I also like these fixing lands. They're pretty flexible. I've had some fun games with Rito and Rude, but I still don't think you're supposed to take them super highly until you're already a deck that can use them well, which is like a black-red deck with a bunch of job select cards, so you can sack your equipment or your creatures there. It's a pretty good pack. I'm going to go Crystals Chosen, though. We'll try that out. Have not had an opportunity to play it yet, and there's a lot of Graha Tias here, and they're getting all passed around. So we can play that nice 3/5 reach, drawing us some cards as we're trading things off. Yeah, I mean, white decks are super creature heavy in this format, so we are very likely to be trading creatures off once we've got that on board. Also, when our sagas are sacrificing themselves, that'll draw us a card. Feels pretty good. Pick 6, Weapons Vendor is really reasonable if we end up in Boros, but it's not the most flexible, because if you're not playing a bunch of equipment and job select cards, then it's kind of mediocre. 4 mana 2/2, draw a card, no other abilities. You do want to get some extra value off the ability. The alternative picks here are Fate of the Suncrest for solid white removal. We're deeper into white than anything else, so that's a reasonable pick. Or Summon Shiva, which is a very strong card if we end up in blue. I think I'm taking Shiva here. Delivery Moogle is an excellent card. 4 mana 3/2 flyer. Pretty much guaranteed to draw a card when it enters the battlefield as well. There are tons of 2 mana job select equipments that you can draft, as well as the 1 mana artifact creatures like Magitech Infantry. You know, cards like the Sage's Nullis here. You can tutor off of the Moogle. I love Delivery Moogle. And take that here. Very locked in on white. Probably playing blue-white if we can. And blue-white is an artifact-focused deck. That is what the blue-white archetype is supposed to be. Rook Turret is fine, but I find that the 4-drop slot can be really competitive. You can't run too many 4 mana cards, but you do want to run tons like 2 mana creatures. And here is a Monk's Fist, which is a 2 mana artifact we can tutor off Delivery Moogle. It is really important to make sure you have at least like 3 different cards you could tutor off the Moogle. And here's another one, Scorpion. Excuse me, Scorpion Sentinel. But it is in a pack with a weapons vendor, and now that we're trying to be blue-white artifacts, we're pretty likely to be running more than just one job select equipment, where the vendor does go up in value quite a bit. So the Sentinel and the vendor both looking really, really good here. The Sentinel's tutorable off delivery Moogle, and it's a 4/4 in the late game, which is cool. Might be undervaluing the weapons vendor this draft, but I think I've been overvaluing that in the early access. All right, this deck looks solid here. This is going to be a fun one. I could splash in a Renoa if we get a bunch of good fixing. Although I've got double white here, double blue here. The more restrictive costs you have like that, the worse splashing into a third color is going to be. I think I'm just going to stick to 2 colors here. We've got double white, 2 different double white cards, 2 different double blue cards. Our mana base could be already a little difficult. Airship's not horrible if you care about artifacts, like this deck is likely to. Alright, we did not wheel any Magitech infantries, which is a bummer, because it's the kind of card you need more than one copy of it to make it good. And it's the kind of card I need to make our Knights of Sandoria good. This pack is pretty mediocre. Sahagin is good with the Crystals Chosen, Memories Returning, and Syncopate. So this is not the worst looking Sahagin deck. Adelbert can be good with any job select equipment kind of cards. We've got 1 equipment so far. We are drafting more somewhat highly. So Adelbert versus Sahagin looks like the pick. Rescue Mission's like decently flexible, and it does play well with the Crystals Chosen, so that is interesting too. Yeah, I like all 3 of those options. I think I'm going to default to the 2-drop though, because that is the more competitive slot on the mana curve. Let's grab Adelbert. Or I guess the less competitive slot, the spot where you need a lot more cards, and you don't have to cut as many. Pack 2, pick 2. Am I monocolored enough to take the double black spell here? No, we're pretty locked in. Memories Returning and Shiva as really powerful blue spells. The Knights, the Moogle, the Crystals Chosen in white. I don't think we can really pivot to black here, but Primal Odin is ridiculously strong. But I think we have to just take another Monk's Fist here, playing really well with Delivery Moogle and our Artifact Synergy cards. Another Crystals Chosen. I don't think I'm taking that here. Let's just take the removal spell. I am still kind of low on removal. Yeah, definitely. Fate of the Suncrest it is. Pick 4. Okay, Joshua's kind of an awesome card. But as we saw last pack, it's very difficult to push off of blue here. That said, I think the blue and white cards in this pack are really bad. Dreams of the Lagoon is solid. Not super into the Prima Vista or the side quest, though. They're pretty inconsistent. Joshua's just miles ahead of everything else in this pack. But really unlikely we play that without a bunch of fixing. Joshua's so insane, though. I will speculate to see if I can get the red duels. Pick 5's pretty poopy. We'll take a Dwarven Castle Guard. Alright, there's a 1-drop creature. Certainly not the best one. Plays well with a couple things. So if you respond to your Chapter 3 trigger on your Saga by giving it to your opponent with Stiltskin, you can draw a card off Stiltskin and they'll still just sacrifice it immediately when you give it to them. That's a way to go up in value. Also, aura-based removal spells, which blue has. You can cast the aura-based removal, tap your opponent's creature, keep it tapped, and then later in the game, you just give your opponent control of that aura at any time, and nothing changes. You just draw a card. Like, no matter who controls the pacifism, it's still attached to the same creature. So that's pretty good. Okay, here's another really good splash. Choco. It would be like the only bird in our deck, but it's still like a 4-mana 4/5 that draws a card every time it attacks by itself. So it's really good even if it's the only bird. I don't think I'm gonna take that though, because there's no world where we're gonna splash both it and Joshua. So we'll just draft in a way to where if we find fixing towards Joshua, we can play that, but let's not try to find fixing towards Joshua and try to find fixing towards Choco at the same time. She's so gambly. You know what? I have enough 2-drops here. We can try this Merchant out. Seems fine. Pick 9 is nothing. Magic Damper is a fine hexproof trick, but I do think Aerith Rescue Mission plays well enough with Crystals Chosen to try that out here. And we have just straight up Syncopates that we could also try to use as our ways to protect our best threats. Well, we got the green fixing when I didn't take the green splash. RIP. Yeah, I got the green fixing late instead of the red fixing late. Bummer. Pack 3, pick 1. Brainstorm is not particularly good without a lot of consistent ways to shuffle. It's just okay. We have a decent artifact count for Valkyrie Aerial Unit at the top of our curve. Big Flyer Surveils 2. By the time you're casting that, Surveil 2 is close to draw a card because any lands you hit, slam dunk those straight into the grave. There's also a Magitech Infantry, though, which pack 3, pick 1. The odds of getting a second copy are not particularly high, but the upside is massive if I get a second, because if I draw my Stiltskin before the Knights right now, that makes the Knights really mediocre. A 3-mana 3/3 that's hard to cast. So the more 1-drops we have, the more likely the Knights is to be a solid card. So I would really massively benefit from getting 2 copies of Magitech Infantry, and we did it. We got a second copy of Magitech Infantry immediately, which is quite lucky. Although Winota join her forces is dumb. And she's the same color to splash in as Joshua, but very similarly to the Magitech Infantry problem here. If I take this, we've only got a single pack to try to find the red fixing, which makes it pretty unlikely and very risky to try to get to. So I'm just going to lock in and guarantee the double infantry. Because things go so risky when I decide, okay, now I'm going to be going after a second infantry and a red splash in the same pack, because then I'd be on 1 infantry and a second red rare. Then both of those things could just completely fall apart and we wasted tons of picks. So I'm just going to make sure one of those things happens well. Here's another Magitech armor. This feels like just a better Aerith Rescue Mission for this deck because it also has artifact synergies. I guess not that I have a ton of cards that legitimately care about artifacts, but it's beefier stuff. Pick 4. Alright, now I do with a Gala Cat, but Wyvern's probably still better. 3-mana 2/1 flyer and a 1/1. Yeah, it's gotta be Wyvern. Pick 5, another Wyvern. Love to see it. Come on in. Monk's Fist also reasonable. But now for Delivery Moogle, I have Scorpion Sentinel, double Monk's Fist, and the Magitech Infantries count as well. Pick 6. I guess the Lunatic Pandora counts too. Then we can grab removal off of the Delivery Moogle. Alright, with double Magitech armor, we're probably cutting Aerith Rescue Mission. My equipment count is not high enough to make that super exciting. I have 2 equipment in the whole deck, so Weapons Vendor seems pretty filler still. I don't think I want to play multiple Lunatic Pandoras. Just like maybe a combat tutorial or Dreams of Laguna. This deck seems like it cares more about, you know, draw 2 immediately and get a +1/+1 counter than the other way around now. Alright, Stuck in Summoner's Sanctum's great. I'm still pretty low on removal. 1 Fate, 1 Lunatic Pandora, and this is a removal spell that also works well with our Stiltskin, which is nice. Cool synergy. Ice Magic's decent too, but I like the Stiltskin synergy that we have access to with Stuck in Summoner's Sanctum. Lionheart is reasonable, but 3-mana 3/3 Flying Vigilance is kind of the nuts. I guess I've got a lot of 3-mana cards right now. Yeah, alright. And Lionheart is another pseudo removal spell, a little bit of damage early. There is nothing I'm playing here, so we take a world map. 1 world map does not a Joshua splash, but there's no point in hate drafting on Arena. Somebody gets to play with a Saz's Chocobo. We'll take the world map just in case I get like 2 other pieces of fixing magically in the last 2 picks, but that's not going to happen. Yeah, the Hill Giant does not count. you can't count this as fixing for red, because if you're counting it as fixing for red, you're just counting it as mountain. At that point, you would just be playing a mountain in your deck. Instead of a mountain, you have to spend 2 mana to get. Some reasonable combat tricks in the end, although I don't know I really have room for them. Alright, just make a few cuts and we've got a deck here. Not the best here. I'm not the most excited, but we've got a reasonable curve. We have a couple solid synergies. Some good ways to get a little bit ahead in card advantage with cards like Delivery Moogle and the Knights of Sandoria. But we didn't really get a lot of cards that actually care about having a bunch of artifacts on board, so we didn't really do the whole blue-white artifact synergy thing. We're kind of just blue-white good stuff here. And there's no, like, mega bomb. All of our best cards are just good card draw cards. Good card advantage cards. These Magitech armors definitely count as creatures as well. As does the Crystal's Chosen. Alright, so there's all the creatures up top. 6 cards to cut. These feel like the first cuts here, just where they line up on the curve. Still 3 more to cut. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 creature spells. It feels pretty good for a pretty aggressive deck, especially with like the double, not the double, the 1 Crystal's Chosen at the top of the mana curve. 3 cuts. We've got the cheap combat tricky things that are very low impact later in the game. We have Lunatic Pandora as not the most efficient card, 6 mana removal. We have Combat Tutorial and Memories Returning. That's multiple card draw spells, so maybe we can cut one of those, especially considering we have a lot of card advantage on our creatures as well. Shiva can draw some cards, Graha can draw some cards, Delivery Moogle always draws 1, the Knights always draw 1. Got a lot of incidental card advantage there. So probably don't need 2 of these. Yeah, I guess I'll go for just the Memories Returning. 2 more cuts. Definitely not cutting a land. Our curve goes up to 7, and we have a couple equip abilities we can spend mana on later as well. A 9 mana flashback. I think our mana curve is aggressive enough, and we have a high enough creature count that 1 well-timed combat trick could go a pretty long way. So I'm actually just going to run the combat trick over the 6 mana removal here. Try out You're Not Alone in this deck. Yeah, very, very aggressively curved, go wide, kind of blue-white deck here. The Crystal's Chosen should be an excellent way to top off our curve. This looks pretty decent here, but we'll have to see how it actually plays out, how it does based on the speed of the set here, what archetypes we play against. I don't know. We'll see how it does as we hop in the gameplay. Mono white opening hand is awkward. We play a Stiltskin and then nothing till 5. That's if I hit double blue. We've got a 7 mana card in the opener. It's gonna be a mulligan. It's the same hand. What's going on with our lands here, Arena? Double check. Yeah, we're on a 9-8 split. What are you gonna do? So the options are to mull to 5, or ditch the blue spell, in which case we have a 1-drop, and if we hit any land by turn 4, we also have a 4-drop, which I guess is where we're at here. Seems about as likely to do well as a 5-card hand. Mulliganing twice lowers your win rate significantly at that point, being down 2 cards at the start of the game. So we're taking a gamble either way. We'll take the gamble we know rather than the gamble we don't. Our opponent did take 1 mulligan, I believe. Draws are not great so far. The way that we've drawn it would have been better to ditch a land instead of the blue spell, because we did happen to find the island here. Just waiting for 2 more video games worth of Universes Beyond to hit Magic Arena so that I can have all 5 of my basics be a different video game when I'm playing a video game set. Would be awesome. When I'm playing Magic sets, I like to use the Nicol Bolas full arts for sure, the Hour of Devastation ones. But playing Final Fantasy, I think it's kind of sweet. Assassin's Creed, Fallout, Final Fantasy. Gamers represent, gamers rise up. Death Toucher, well, goodbye Stiltskin. Yeah, I guess I could give them lands, but lands are legitimately valuable, even really late in the game. They can help them double spell later. Activate abilities like this twice. I don't hate countering their card draw here, especially when it's a flashback spell like that, and when I know I'm going to tap out next turn anyway. They're stuck on 2 mana, so keeping them off seems decent. Alright. I guess now trading the 1-2 into the 1-1 isn't as bad, because it lets my 4-4 get through. I don't love my position. Obviously, them being stuck on 2 mana is decent for us, because you're not casting anything for now. But it is better in the long run if you can survive to be mana screwed than mana flooded. Because this means their hand is nothing but spells. So as soon as they start hitting lands, they have nothing but action here while I am out of action. Really out of action. So this Scavengers drains me for a life whenever one of their cards dies, but not super relevant right now. When they only have 1 card on board. It is a very scary ability for later, though. I have officially drawn all the lands I could need for the entire game now. Because our most expensive card is 7 mana, and we've got 7 lands in the hand / on board. Alright, so they're holding up their own trick, but now I have a counterspell and a combat trick of my own to make sure this armor sticks around. They could be holding their own trick. They could also just be stuck on mana here, but that wouldn't really make much sense considering Arena is holding for them. Unless they're playing in full control mode, they have some kind of instant in their hand. Yeah, they would never block here without an instant. Or I guess if they have like the return 2 creatures from your graveyard to your hand card, a chump block would make sense here. If that's their only viable play, might as well. So what is that? That makes it a 4-6, so I can just use the combat trick and save the syncopate. Land 4. All 4 cards in hand are spells here. Azusa's fine. Azusa's literally just a 1-2. When they're stuck on mana, doesn't really matter if they can play additional lands if they don't have any lands at all in their hand. Chocobo Racetrack. Technically doesn't matter if they don't have any lands in their hand, but it makes every draw in their whole deck viable. They literally cannot miss a draw step if they play Chocobo Racetrack. Then every single card in their deck is relevant. Oh my god. That was a little bit of a preemptive concession there. We've got absolutely no action. We know they have 2 spells of some kind, but I guess they're just tired of the syncopates, which I will absolutely take. We do kind of cheese out a victory there. We are 1-0 heading into game 2. Alright, here we are on the play for game 2. Way better opener this time around. We have a 1-2-3 curve, and what's really sweet about the 3 mana curve is the infantry lets us hold up syncopate mana without worrying about like not doing anything relevant that turn. Because if they don't play anything I need to syncopate, then I'll just get my infantry. Flood the board here. We're playing against blue-red. Played against a pretty aggressive blue-red deck yesterday, but I imagine it's also a pretty good controlling deck. They block with Ultros here. They do force my hand on the infantry, so I can't hold up Syncopate, but I still think the attack is solid here. Just free damage if they don't block, which is the most likely outcome, because this has relevant abilities. So they cast 4 mana or greater spells. They get to tap and stun our creatures. They have to be non-creature spells, but still pretty good. If they spend 8 mana on non-creature spells, they 8 counters on this, which is a rarity, but really strong if it happens. Blazing Bomb is fine. They just blow up one of our infantries. Better to hold Syncopate for a scarier card than them just killing one of our 1-drops or a 2-drop or something. Been pretty good at drawing our lands with this deck so far, which does mean that any spell we draw is going to be sick. Instant Ramen. Alright, you can draw one. They could just trade the Blazing Bomb off on blocks, which does make a lot of sense, because it's most likely to just sack itself and kill one of these creatures later anyway. So might as well, like, stop the damage and kill one of these. Unless they expect to make the bomb really big. Which is not easy to do, because it only grows off of 4 mana spells. There is a 4 mana non-creature spell. 100% going to counter this one, though, because it flashes back and triggers everybody again. Plus, obviously, puts a 3/3 on the board right now. This is a very reasonable spell to counter. I guess I could bluff something here at no cost, but just in case I'm missing some way they can get mana here. Do the X equals 2. I'm a little too lazy to bluff on Arena too much, because I'd have to go full control mode as well to pretend I had an instant. A Stilt Skin. Not horrible here. Like, another land would be horrible, but I don't really see a particularly good way to use that right now. Not with these cards on board. Best I can do is just draw a card, give them a land. But again, lands stay relevant quite late in this format. They have a card that wants them to cast an 8 mana non-creature spell, so it does feel pretty risky to be throwing lands their way. Especially just against blue in general, because they could just loop card draw spells together. Even if they don't have anything really expensive to do, makes it a lot easier for them to cast, like, the flashback on Dreams of Laguna, 4 mana, surveil 1, draw a card, and then cast a second 4 mana spell in the same turn. So I just don't think we're doing anything with Stiltskin right now, unless we are absolutely desperate for a draw. We could give them a 1/1 hero after our Castle Guard dies. Another way that you could theoretically use Stiltskin would be... They're just going to play a 4 mana instant here. That would be awful for me. I don't think I should block. Oh wait, this one doesn't get buffed. It just taps and stuns. Yeah, no, I should have blocked then. I'm fine trading Stiltskin into a combat trick. I would just hate to, like, block with Stiltskin and then they instant speed get a counter on that for free. But this one doesn't get counters. It taps things. Yeah, I should have blocked. Never mind, I drew the combo. So Blazing Bomb blows up at sorcery speed only. Theoretical onboard lethal. No, they can gain 3. Yeah, so I'm just going to save this in case they flash in some good creature I'm not thinking of. We just attack with all the 2-power stuff. Hold on. They could be trying to cast a 3 mana or greater, or sorry, a 4 mana or greater non-creature spell in response to the attack here. Hold full control. I think I have to actually cast this. They can't go non-creature spell plus block. Alright, if they have a good flash creature, then that's a bummer. I don't really care much about removal. Just care about a flash creature. I guess I should have played this play around Syncopate. Syncopate would be really good here. They'd spend 4 mana on it. That means the bomb gets a counter, and then also they counter the Stuck of the Summoner's Sanctum. Yeah, I really needed to play this land. I should have kept Syncopate in mind. I've got my own copies. There was no reason for me not to be thinking about that. That's kind of a big miss. No Syncopate is quite lucky. So they have to eat their ramen at worst. If they have a good removal spell, they play that instead. We did draw into the Stiltskin Wombo combo, which is adorable. We will get to draw a card here at absolutely no cost. Return the infantry to our hand. That is fine. I'll just replay that. Alright. Not a bad turn at all. They remain at 6, though. Oh, I already played land for a turn. Okay, I didn't miss anything. That makes me feel so much better about that turn. I was going to be so embarrassed if we saw the Syncopate. But it turns out I couldn't have played around it. Well, I could have if I main phased the enchantment. I should have main phased the enchantment still. Tap and stun the Stiltskin? Alright, if they're going to tap it anyway, then we'll draw the card off of it here. Oh. I think this is going to be my first time casting this card in this set. That is so good right now, though. Kaboom. Ka-ching. Have fun dealing with all this. Yeah, they got to take a couple trades here. They trade into the cards that do not spit out a creature when they die, but now they have to find a way to not die to 6 creatures on my board, so there's 0 blockers. That is exactly what we wanted to see from the Crystals Chosen when we drafted that. Perfect stuff here. And that's the game. 2-0 heading into game number 3. Alright, game 3 on the draw. Infantry and a Scorpion Sentinel makes the infantry a 2-1 on turn 2, and then turn 3. The combo, we have 2 different instant speed plays, but if we don't need to play any of those, we just activate the infantry, get its buddy on the board. Opponent starts with the Grand Pulse Ochu, which is a fine trade for Magitech Infantry after we have activated its ability, so that we're up a card. Which I guess I'll only be trading on blocks because the 1/3 blocker holds off the infantry. We did draw the combat trick for it, You're Not Alone. I don't think we needed to tell the infantry that, though. It's got quite a few friends. Torgal. Torgal's really nice. Mana fixing, mana ramp, and +1/+1 counters on all your humans. Very sick card. Alright, luckily we did not top deck the other Magitech infantry, so we will get our value this game. Tutoring out his friend. And in the team. Combat trick me. I'm gonna try to kill a Torgal, right? I have no lands in this hand. This Sentinel is not that likely to get bigger. We'll try to kill both. Vincent's Limit Break. So they reanimate the Torgal. Playing our own combat trick doesn't do anything here. I could Fate the Torgal away here in response. Not the worst, but then I'm not getting the infantry clone. they don't have double limit break, this is pretty great for me. If they have double limit break, then we still save our infantry there. Yeah, that was a pretty good turn. Pretty good combat for me. Okay, this is unfortunately a sorcery, which I always forget, because it looks like a lot like the instant speed card draw spells you get out of blue a lot. I'm going to pass here. If they don't have another combat trick, then I'm threatening to block plus You're Not Alone on the Gardener if they send it here, which I think would be worth it. Alright, no attacks. Fair. It is pretty suspicious, and they did get blown out last turn, attacking into all the mana. Okay. If I find a Plains off Memories Returning, I can cast that and You're Not Alone, and I'm pretty desperate for a land with Shiva as the draw. Alternatively, I can just tap down the Ahriman and start beating down. It's really not bad. And I don't have any removal, though, for if they play anything scarier than this. I really don't like casting Stuck in Summoner's Sanctum on any other creature when they have the Ahriman on the board, though, because then they can just sack whatever I put the Stuck in Summoner's Sanctum on to draw a card. Like, it is not a particularly good deal, so I think we just play it and hope to find more removal if I really need it. But for now, I do still have a tap and stun for a few turns to deal with their next scary threat. They do have 2 mana for like a Blitzball here. That would not be good. Oh god, did they have an untap trick? Or is that them just trying to block here? Okay, fair. The reverse blowout would only be fair, honestly, if they have like the Blitzball +3/+3 on their blocker. Okay, that's not like a huge blowout. It's kind of fine. It's basically the same as if they had Blitzball. Yeah, we balanced it out, made it fair after we got our really good block. X Death, that does not matter. They have 6 cards in grave. 6 permanent cards specifically, so it does take quite a while to do its thing. I've got a good Stiltskin board right now. Yeah, I'm playing that. Get my memories much later. Well, I probably should have still played this. It's the exact same kind of turn as last time, where like if I find a Plains in the top 5, then I can play this and the Stiltskin, and that's just an excellent, excellent turn. But we're fine. We find the Plains now. Okay, if I get a 6th mana, I can activate Stiltskin and Memories Returning in the same turn. So we'll play towards that. Stun and pass, no viable attacks. Shiva works great with Stuck in Summoner's Sanctum. Draws a card for the Ahriman too. Overkill on Shiva. I am literally... Okay. I am almost always happy when my opponent uses a removal spell on my summon, because it's going to sacrifice itself later anyway. Okay, we hit the land to just draw a couple cards here, which is wonderful. Wow. I wonder what I'm putting in my hand there. I wonder what my opponent's putting on bottom. This is quite the mind game for Memories Returning. Interesting decisions are being made. Alright. Rather poke or just draw the card here? I would rather just draw the card. They're at 21. Getting them to 18 instead of 21 is not as valuable as just guaranteeing that I have drawn my Stiltskin card. Because if I like tap out to hit them here, and then they just blow up Stiltskin, and I never drew the card off of it, that's not great. Dark Confidant is a nightmare with our opponent at 21 life. So we need to get some life total pressure on our opponent. I like Syncopate here. That's a good draw. I have 7 mana. I cannot double spell with creatures. I can't attack unless I get somebody up to 3 power. So if I want to attack, I have to tap out a Syncopate here. I could play Wyvern and move Monk's Fist, and then I have Syncopate for 1. Syncopate for 1 is really unlikely to matter. They already have 6 mana on the board. So I'm not going to hold up Syncopate for 1. I'm going to cast our more expensive spell and move the Monk's Fist and hold up no mana. Next turn, I can play the Wyvern and hold up Syncopate. Ooh, every trade is fantastic for me when we have Graha on board. So, loving that. No, don't draw another creature. I want to hold up a Syncopate. Gubu Gardener and a Dire Rat, sure. Board's still looking good thanks to Graha. Yeah, I can't really justify not playing both Wyverns right now, can I? Nope, which means no Syncopate, because Syncopate for 1 is really unlikely to be useful here. How do they kill Graha? Block with a 3/3 and a 2/2, in which case even if I put Monk's Fist on it, it's not a good attack. So we move to a flyer and pass. And start hitting for 5 a turn in the sky. Ooh, Cloud of Darkness. Very good here. They have... I guess they only have 3 permanents in their grave, so they can't kill Graha, but they can kill one of my flyers. Graha will draw me another card, but they kill one flyer, and then they can trade into the other one to keep themselves defended. I will be drawing 2 cards, though. 1 per turn, 1 right now, and then 1 when the other Wyvern trades off. Bob might just be on our side. Might be an absolute traitor. Because they're down to 14 now. We're threatening a 3 damage hit. And if they don't take the hit and instead take the trade, we draw another card. Ooh. That is so good on this board. It's going to be another no Syncopate turn. Yeah, it's just way too good on this board to not cast. Oh, Lord. Have mercy on my opponent's soul. I'm not giving them anything off Stiltskin, am I? No, there's no way. I'm giving them another Stiltskin card later. So we send that in here. I do only draw 1 card, even if they trade with both of these creatures. But we're going to be pushing damage here anytime I can send in a 3-power creature. And the Monk's Fist doesn't add any toughness, so Wyvern's going to just trade off into Cloud of Darkness no matter what. So we're definitely equipping that elsewhere. Sure, let's kill probably the rat, right? Get rid of the higher toughness cards. I mean, they get a treasure, but what's a treasure doing at this point? I guess that is one thing to be worried about that I wasn't considering. X-Death gets to flip soon. Really high power trampler, like 6 power trampler. I'm at 22 with approximately 1,000 creatures on board, though, so I probably shouldn't be worried. Namazu Trader, go to 13, and this lets them, what, surveil? Surveil 2, if they, like, sack a treasure every time it attacks. You can also sack their tapped lockdown creature to surveil 2, but it only surveils on attacks, and they're not in a great position to attack. Do I have any 1-drops left in my deck? No, I drew my infantries and my Stiltskin, so this is a 3-mana 3/3. Sadness on the stack. Not super interested in running it out. Oh, right, this thing has 4 toughness, so there's that as well. Okay. I guess the 3/3 is actually good right now then, isn't it? They have 4 blockers. I have 8 attackers. Block 4, 4 get in for 2 damage apiece. That's 8 damage. This is not lethal yet, but if they get 1 bad Confidant trigger, we could maybe lethal them like next turn. Just double check. Yeah. Bad. So what do we got left? None of these are particularly impactful. So we really need to go the distance with what we already have. I guess Delivery Moogle is the best of the draws for sure, because that can search our grave too. Okay, Delivery Moogle's fantastic. The rest are just okay. Equip here. For the 4-power attacker and the trader. Although at this point probably just attacking with literally everybody. No, Confidant found a land. That's always the ideal. You hit your land off your Confidant and your spell as your draw for a turn, and then you just draw cards without having to pay any life. It's really good. Come on, giant X mana spell that I can syncopate. I definitely can't syncopate a treachery. They have one card in their hand, and I can syncopate whatever it is. So is 4 blockers enough to kill them here? Oh my god. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4 creatures get blocked. 6 2-power creatures get through. I put them to 1 life, and I remain. That is certainly an English sentence that makes sense. I keep a bunch of creatures on board. A bunch of creatures remain to kill them next turn. Whatever way you want to put it. Yeah, we just put them to 1 and finish them off next turn. I have double syncopate to make sure nothing goes wrong here. It'll be like a little suspicious that we're not casting memories to return, but what are they going to do about it? Oh, I miscounted. They go to 3. This is still enough to kill them. Next swing. Unless they have a really good 2-mana spell, because I can only count unless they pay 9. 5 mana is too expensive. They only have 6 mana up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can count unless they pay 7. Unless I miscounted here through the game. Alright, I did not miscount. And there's the concession from our opponent. I think that's undefeated still. What is this, 3-0 now? Double check the record here, but I think this draft has gone very well so far, locking in at least the 50-50 win rates. So, yeah, cannot be a negative draft here. That is 3-0 heading into Game 4. Game 4, on the play, turn 3 Wyvern. Starting turn 3 is generally a little slow, but when you're on the play, it is certainly not the worst, and we have both of our colors and some pretty great cards, so it's definitely a keep. Tonberry is a card that is scary when you're on the defensive, but if you're on the offensive, it doesn't do anything. It only has abilities during our opponent's turn. So it's not a good blocker, but it is a pretty good attacker. I'm just going to lock in my infantry value as always. Keep their Black Mage from attacking us. Get a duplicate. That is annoying here, just to make me discard Graha. Sure. Skipping, committing anything to the board here just to clear out my late game play is fine. There's the Monk's Fist to buff the infantry, but I kinda don't care about buffing the infantry when I can just play Wyvern. Hit for 1 less damage this turn. We're actually somewhat of a reasonable deck for like blocking and killing the Tonberry, because you can block with like 3 1/1s and kill it. You just lose 2 1/1s in that exchange. It's an Adelbert. That feels like a stun to me to win the race. Black does have some good sacrifice spells, though. so we'll be a little sad if they sack it for value. Man, that Poison the Waters was a pretty big bummer. Graha's excellent in this kind of matchup where we just both have a bunch of little creatures. There'd be a lot of trading going on. Each player sacks a token, so they don't have to sack anything. Ooh, each player sacks an enchantment. That's even better to save Adelbert. That draw is completely useless. We will send... Move the Fist and probably have to clear out the lifelink again. Which means no removal for their next threats. I'm not winning this race against Adelbert. They know about this in my hand, so I can't like surprise them with it. It means I think I'm supposed to just do it while they're tapped out. Not completely, but basically tapped out. One black mana is not doing much. Anima, that's pretty good. Using a removal spell on Anima is not the greatest thing ever, so I don't feel that bad that I'm out of removal here. Because it's a card that is going to sacrifice itself in a few turns anyway, and it's going to get some pings on our opponents while they have no flying blockers. Got the triple block on Tonberry if I need it. I have enough card draw in this deck. As much as bluffing is fun, I should probably play this land in case I hit like Memories Returning. Spend 4 mana on that card draw, plus I would want to play whatever land I draw off of it in the same turn to cast another spell afterward. I probably shouldn't have even skipped the land last turn either. Alright, Anima, the double-edged sword, could get us the win here. We'll have to see. Yeah, no attacks. They are scared now. And another flyer is the draw. That tutors any 2-mana artifacts. Let me double-check our deck and see if there's anything immediately relevant, but I don't think there is. I pick up an infantry from my grave, or I pick up another Monk's Fist, a Scorpion Sentinel. I think we take a Scorpion Sentinel, because I have the mana to play it, and if I draw one land, it's a 4/4. So yeah, we jam, play a Moogle, play a Scorpion Sentinel. Really good draw. So they're going to trade into the 3/1 Wyvern, obviously. They go to 3 life. They're going to take another damage next turn, go to 2, which puts them dead to either flyer hitting them if they can't clear out both. Which I suppose they have the ability to clear out one of these. Not clear it out, but tap it with their cats. So they only need one removal spell. They tap one with the cat and removal spell the other one, or they are dead in the sky. And they don't find the removal. I suppose even if they did, we have the chance of just going wide at this point with only 2 blockers up after they tap the cat. Just attack with all the tokens to get 2 damage in. Sweet run so far. We're 4-0. We have had an undefeated win streak all the way into a positive record here. Great start to this draft. Game 5. We're 4-0 right now. That could change really quickly if I keep this hand and don't draw an island. If I draw an island, this hand is incredible. But I specifically need to draw an island, and I believe that's the one I have 8 of. Yeah, there's 8 islands in the deck of 33 cards. Less than a 1 and 3. I'll keep this opener, can I? Yeah. Monocolored openers always disappointing. Okay, this is better, but still bad. 2 4-mana spells and a 5-mana spell in the opener. I mean, I can get rid of the Shiva and then just need to draw 2 lands. I have 2 spells guaranteed. I can play the Monk Fist into the Syncopate. But this hand has pretty much identical issues if I don't draw lands. But luckily, this hand, it doesn't matter what lands I draw, as long as they are lands in general. If I immediately top deck a land next turn, if the top card of my library is a land, it's better to play infantry right now, so I can just immediately activate that on 3. But if I miss a land drop, it's definitely better to start with Monk's Fist. And we're on like a coin flip here, a literal 50-50 whether the top card of my deck is a land. With how I've drawn it is a land. Kind of awkward. But I have Syncopate for 1-up playing the infantry, so this didn't work the worst. And it's early enough in the game that Syncopate for 1 is real. Sure. I have a low enough amount of mana in my hand and multiple powerful 4-mana plays that I don't get to hold up mana if I hit land 4. Yeah, I will just never be holding up mana again. Magitech Armor feels better here. Against an empty board, it's better, but Moogle's better if they play like a blocker on the ground, which is pretty likely. What artifacts can I tutor with it? Definitely not the infantry. I can get another Monk's Fist or a Scorpion Sentinel. This looks like a good Monk's Fist game, and I can put all the fists on the flyer. Yeah, let's Moogle another Monk's Fist. I love this card. This thing is sick. Also adorable. Noctis, a lifelinker on the ground? Not happy to see that. I could put a fist on the infantry so I can keep attacking on the ground. But I cannot let them crack back with Noctis and just try to race that way either. So I think we're supposed to just send the flying damage, get an armor down. But having another Monk's Fist in hand does mean I would have re-equip and play one creature for the turn in the same turn, which is reasonable. Sahagin, don't really care about that. Town Greeter, I definitely don't care much about that. Okay, Town Greeter actually might be the best of these. Cast a diamond weapon off a Noctis? Okay, at least they have to pay life for it. But that would be really, really bad for me. Gigantic Reach blocker. Okay. What do we do? We're definitely attacking with Magitech armor. I can equip one Monk's Fist to our flyer and play another one, or I can just play another Magitech armor. I do not have any other good attacks on the ground. Even if I move a Monk's Fist like an infantry, it's going to trade into a Town Greeter. It's not even good. I think we try to go for the 2-turn flying lethal over another Magitech armor. Trade the Noctis off there. So that's 3-turn flying lethal. And they have the removal for the flyer with the Pandora. Yeah, maybe this was wrong. But now they can't recast the diamond thing. If they use the Pandora, they're tapped out. They go land, Pandora the flyer. They have a 1-3 and a 1-1 against the wide board. The 1-3 puts in a lot of work, honestly. But the 1-1 does not. If their best play is Pandora the flyer, I think we still have a real shot here. But as soon as they get stable, we're going to have issues. They're the 5-color deck, which means they drafted every bomber in their draft pod. So they're likely to have plenty more where Noctis came from. And Diamond Weapon. Blow up the Moogle. Alright. So we send the squad. We lose one of our creatures for nothing. Ah, that's so bad here. Because it would be so excellent with 7. But we very much do not have 7. Yeah, send in the team. We lose our 2/2/1s to hit them down to 6. And then play a Magitech armor. And I can double Monk's Fist somebody up to get through the Sahagin in the future. Yeah. By sacking 2/2/1s, I kill a Town Greeter and deal 2 damage to our opponent. Which feels worth it. But again, we are just 1 bomb rare from losing this game, and they are the archetype of bomb rares. There you have it. GG. Oh, full control. Actually want to return Leviathan to my hand to get another 1/1 off of it. Or Magitech Armor to my hand to get another 1/1 off of it. But yeah, Leviathan is just incredible against tokens. It's gonna draw them a card next turn too. Stiltskin is not good at this point. I really just want lands. Oh, it draws cards off the Merfolk too. They get to draw 2. Destroy all of our creatures and draw 2. Draw 3, actually, because this means that Chapter 3 matters as well. Chapter 3 gives them another Sahagin attack. I guess I have to try to kill Sahagin here, but, you know, any removal or combat trick is going to go on the armor, but that was already the case regardless. Because it's our 4/4 creature instead of our 1/1 or 1/2. No removal or trick. Feels good. But thanks to Leviathan, they're on 6 cards in hand here. Yup. Talk about being stable. Gain 3 and stun the armor for 3 turns. Still the tiniest chance in the world if I draw land again next turn. So what's awkward with Stiltskin is if I chump and then Stiltskin them the hero is removed from combat. They can't be blocking their creature with their own creature, so they will keep the hero token, and I do not want to give them more blockers. So I don't think I can Stiltskin them anything. I could give them a Monk's Fist. Could give them this Magitech armor since it's stunned anyway. If this game goes long, I lose, period. I don't think it matters if I'm giving them a creature they can crew 3 turns from now, when our best win condition is to have, like, you know, 4 more creatures on board than them. And this doesn't even give them an additional creature, it just makes one of their blockers bigger. I think we're actually going to Stiltskin them the armor. I should not have equipped here. I have 3 mana instant speed removal. It's too late now. In for a penny, in for a pound. Once I activated 1, I wouldn't have the mana to play the removal if I drew it. I shouldn't have equipped any. Because then if I Stiltskin them the armor and I top deck one of the 3 mana removal spells, I could cast it, but I would have needed 5 mana total untapped. Ultimecia, really, really good. Surveil 2 to make sure their draws are straight gas. And they get an extra turn after this. They mill both because they've got a good flashback card. 100% taking 8 if they attack here, because we need as wide of a board as possible. To try to go wide around their blockers as our only out. Ay. Alright, well, they draw a 4/4 flyer. Get rid of their removal spell, they draw another creature. Honestly, I think the creature is worse for me than the removal spell. And they're both equally bad, it's just stopping one attacker. I guess the creature's more expensive. At least. Disappointing game. But I'm pretty sure that that seals the heck out of it. Because now even if I go land Crystal's Chosen, there's no out. I didn't even hit the land. Ouch, Arena. Ouchie. They have the cards to flip Ultimecia and get an extra turn. Cast all their bomb rares in the extra turn. Good lord, what are they doing? Okay, they're just going to cast everything right now. Or they've got the mana to play the Sentinel and then get their extra turn here. Yep. All right. That was disappointing. We were like, just like one turn or one removal spell from winning that game earlier, but stabilize at that pivotal moment. 4-1 it is, heading into game 6. All right, here we are on the play for game number 6. Solid opening hand here. We have both of our colors, some 2-mana creatures to run out. We'll start aggressive here, play the higher power creature. Gubu Gardener, 3 toughness. So much for that. Syncopate on 4, Shiva on 5, Crystal's Chosen on 7 is the plan. Another Gubu Gardener? Yeah. the plan stays the same. We have top decked the land, which means we're at 5 out of 7 mana for Crystals Chosen, and Shiva draws some cards as well. We get to the 7 mana, then the Sentinel is also a 4/4. Tap out for like a fat Chocobo here, I will happily counter it. Ultima's fine too. Honestly, I think fat Chocobo would be scarier for us than Ultima. But either card is super counterable. Curve out here, play to the board rather than holding up the Syncopates for now. No! Both. That's pretty funny. Stun the Chocobo itself now to get in then. Yeah, that's not bad. We got the Stiltskin Shiva combo. Which means we play the Stiltskin, put a stop in our upkeep and our main. That way I can respond to this ability before Shiva gets sacrificed. I might have to full control here. I don't know exactly how it works on Arena. But I'm pretty sure we can get the third ability on the stack before Shiva technically goes into the grave. I do want the card draw from Shiva as well, so I'm not gonna like give them Shiva before the ability goes on the stack. I think there's an opportunity while the ability is on the stack where Shiva's still on the board. Oh, wow. I mean, I can't syncopate. They would be able to pay the mana for it, but that's fine. I didn't want to give them Shiva there because then she's not a legal target anymore, I believe, because then she's no longer a creature an opponent controls, so I think it would fizzle and they would keep the Shiva. But yeah, spending removal on a creature that's just going to die anyway is fine by me. Draw the Magitech armor. That is not a good draw. It's definitely a syncopate game here. And I can't syncopate if I cast that. I think we just pass. We have missed 2 land drops this game. Drawing the 7 drop this early is definitely a little awkward, because then every missed land drop is extremely painful. Might as well get their final fat Chocobo swing before it sacks itself, right? Yep. Go to 16. If I give them the Monk's Fist, I still have it equipped for now, but then they can move it off next turn. That just doesn't feel worth it yet. 1 mana from Crystal's Chosen. Syncopate for 1 is highly unlikely to work with our opponent at 8 mana available. But Magitech Armor is 2 more creatures for when I cast the Crystal's Chosen, which is a very big deal. And now, because land 7 is so important, I can give them Monk's Fist in the end step to make it more likely to hit land 7 next turn. To make them tap 1 Gubu. Not worth it. Again, I can make them tap one Gubu. Oh, okay, this is actually worth it. Even though the flashback is the better part. Well, okay, let's see. Surveil 2, gain 2. So I'm stopping them from gaining 2, but here's the thing, is that now they only have 2 blockers up. So I can actually get a Crystal's Chosen attack the turn I cast it, which is kind of huge. Oh wait, yeah, this exiles. This is so worth it. Because this exiles. If I miss the land draw, that'll be sad, because this turn will be insane if I hit land 7. Oh, let's go. Oh my god. Yeah. Boom. I don't know if it's worth. I think it's worth attacking with the 2/2 because it still, yeah, it feels better for them to declare it a 5/5, and it feels like they have to, right? They don't have to. They take 7 this way and 10 if they kill my 2/2 instead. 10 is not quite lethal. I think it's worth attacking with the 2/2 because even if they do kill the 2/2, it's not for free. They go to 1 life if they choose to do that. Yeah, that was awesome. That was such a good draw, hitting that land. Now it should be quite difficult for them to survive another swing. There's a Chocobo. 4 blockers. They need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 attackers. So they need... I guess they only need 1 more blocker here. Yeah, 5 blockers is enough. I only hit them for 2 damage. Unless I top deck a creature. If I top deck a creature, it is lethal on board. But if they have a 2 mana piece of interaction, it's not. If their interaction costs 3 or more, they have to tap a Gardener for it, and that's not good enough. But I drew a basic land, so they're still in it. Because I can only attack with 6 creatures, and they take 2 damage and live. So... I don't even kill that many creatures if I attack with everybody. If I just go all-out attack, they kill the armor. Bounce, bounce, bounce. They kill the Chocobo. And then if they have 1 trick, it's really, really bad. I think we only attack with the armor then. And just kill the toad or kill the removal spell. Block there. Block, 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 block. Put them to 2. Kill 1 more creature. But any trick makes the swing elsewhere bad. They don't feel like a combat tricky deck, though. They're like green-blue ramp. Okay, but even if it's not a combat trick, if it's like the 2-mana bounce spell and they just bounce the armor, this is also still really bad, because then they eat 1 of these without losing a creature. Bounce all those and just take the 2. Yeah, no, it's just armor, I think. Alright, it doesn't look like they had a trick. Yeah. Dragoon's Wyvern is a very good draw. Multiple blockers off 1 spell. Dragoon's Wyvern is a very good draw. A flying attacker. Lagoo. Top or bottom of the library? I can't give them Stiltskin. So just put Stiltskin on the bottom here. Again, if I give them this hero token, due to Magic's rules, you can't be blocking your own creature with other stuff, so the combat fizzles and none of these die anymore. And they are up a 2/2 now if I do that, so it's not worth it. I could give them the 1/1, give up on going wide and try to go for flyers, period. Feels pretty risky. I'd give them the land here, actually. Feels better. Yeah, no, I think give them the land. Oh! We hit the flyers. Yeah, I think it's on bottom. One card in their hand. It's the Genji Glove. Sure. So they're tapped out. They've cast everything out of their hand. I mean, they're not literally tapped out, but they cast everything in their hand. I think we win this on board. They can only block one of the Wyverns. I mean, we just do the math again of just the numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means 1, 2, 3, 4 damage gets in. Yeah, it's already lethal, but especially with Monk's Fists, it's very lethal. That is 5 and 1 now. We are guaranteed in the money off of this draft. Here we are for game 7. Turn 1 player most confusing card, as you do. Run out the Stiltskin. I feel like... I think I've misplayed with this. I'm almost certain I misplayed with this at some point, because there's so many weird little things you can do. I think the Chocobo kick kind of removal, where it's deal damage to target creature and opponent controls, I think that might actually have resolved even if I gave them our creature. Even though at that point it would technically be targeting their own creature, I think the only thing that you care about is that the target is still on the board. Not really that it... that it's technically an opponent's creature. Like, I think on resolution, all you check is whether the card's on board or not. I'm not sure. But I think I could have given them the Shiva and it still would have died. But who knows. Alright, this hand's pretty solid. I mean, we have to skip at 4 mana, but from then on, it's pretty good. Probably better to just hold up Stiltskin here, since I'm not doing anything else with this mana, just having the Stiltskin up if they play, like, a burn spell. Yep. Stiltskin in response to Slash of Light would have been pretty good. Draw a card there. Cipher. There's no voice acting in that one, so I have no idea. Yeah, get your double strike swings in. We're still at a position where it looks like we're just attacking past each other. So I don't think Graha's better than Shiva. We might get a new opportunity to find out... oh, never mind. Goodbye, Stiltskin. I was gonna say we might get a new opportunity to figure out if the Chapter 3 Saga thing works. Where you can give them it right before it sacks itself. I mean, I have to tap Cypher again, because if I tap this, they give that flying and hit me for 8. Absolute nightmare. Do I care if they double block Shiva? No, that's literally just good for me if I play Graha this turn. Yeah, if I play Graha this turn, it's just incredible for me if they double block Shiva. And even if I didn't play Graha, it would still be a reasonable trade. If they don't have any removal, then I would like to see an attack here, because I'm going to get to draw 2 off of Shiva. I'll pay 6 life to draw 2. I don't want to see a double attack, because that means they have a trick. Kill Graha. Sure, to attack with the Garuda. Alright, take 6. Draw 2. Yeah, it looks like there is an opportunity. Still on the board for now, but then gets sacked. So yeah, Stiltskin plus Saga creatures is indeed a wombo combo. So I've got an excellent 4 mana play plus the 3 mana removal for Cypher here. But... oh, never mind. This triggers off of cards I control dying. Okay, then I would not be drawing another card off of this if I waited, so let's just try to lock it in and see if they have a response. They do not. Let's go. So now they're just going to have the Monk, and that's it, because this sacks itself next turn. Chapter 3. You know, with a single 2-1 on the ground, I'm pretty okay with just going wide here then. Kind of don't want to attack with Growlhog against 5 open mana, but I'll send in a 1-1. Here's a 4-4. Here's a 2-1. This Delivery Moogle might actually just pick up our little Magitech infantry thing. Just get a couple 2-1s on the board. Go super wide. Starting to feel like the only way that we lose is if they have Ultima, which is a board wipe that destroys all artifacts and creatures and ends the turn. Because it ends the turn, any triggered abilities that go on the stack when things die just fizzle. So we wouldn't even draw a card if they board wipe with Ultima. But we actually still have a game plan, even if they Ultima us, thanks to Delivery Moogle. We know that we can play 3 creatures post-board wipe. We can play the Moogle in both of the infantries. Zidane, get a lifelink swing for 3, because they can't gain 4 off the Sentinel. They're tapped out, so I can not take the damage here, but the important part is that they're gaining 3 life. Okay, that feels like a better play. Yeah, this card's just been consistently awesome. I suppose the one game we lost was because of how expensive it is. It's not been consistently awesome, but it's been almost always awesome. I guess that counts as consistent. Let's see, 5. Can't kill Groha. I am kind of feeding their Ultima a little bit more if they do have the board wipe, but I feel like they would have just cast it last turn if they had it already. So unless they top decked it here. And again, even then, we have a backup plan. There's the concession from our opponent. No board wipe means we go all the way into 6-1 here. Very sweet record for this deck. This has been an absolute banger, and hopefully it keeps banging on as we head into the final battle here. If we manage to win this game, that'll be the final boss. But we've got 2 rounds in the chamber. We have 2 lives to get this last win. Mono blue. We're on the play with turn 3 Wyvern. Any land gets us to Memories Returning, which digs 5 cards deep for the plains. And then our 5-drop is Shiva. I think this is an actually keepable mono-colored hand. Oh, the most terrifying 1-drop in the whole set. This hand just got infinitely worse. Turn 1 Saz's Chocobo from opponents. I will syncopate the mana work from our opponent because we're tapping out every turn. Turn 3 Wyvern, turn 4 Memories, turn 5 Shiva. The next time we're holding up a syncopate is centuries from now. So that is something you always want to consider with counter spells. Is like, when is the next time you're realistically going to have untapped lands? Because as much as we could end up countering something better than a 1/3 mana dork, will we have the mana up to do that? And the answer is no. Not until incredibly late in the game, where we might just be dead with a syncopate still in our hand. Go down to 16. Naturally find the white source. That is really helpful. Because we've drawn the lands to naturally play Shiva next turn, and this game's going aggressively enough because of Saz's Chocobo just being insane, that we really need blockers immediately, and now I just get to play cards that affect the board this turn and next turn. So very, very helpful. Force them to have a combat trick here to declare the attack with the Chocobo, otherwise I can block it with 5 power. Well, that's a bummer. If they have the combat trick, I still basically only lose the Magitech armor. Because I lose the armor and the 1/1, which is basically, you know, this made the 1/1, so. Alright, it's an airship crash, so we'll just take the 7. Fenrir's going to sack itself next turn anyway. So they're down to 1 creature on board, and it's a stunned creature. They will be drawing a card off of Fenrir, so get some good value there, but I'll be drawing a card off Shiva soon enough, and I can keep Chocobo locked for a while to actually start trying to turn this race into my favor. Yeah, this is a reasonable position if they don't have the trample trick. Good lord. They play one of the best summons. The Primal Odin is absolutely devastating. Oh man, okay, so we're still all in on flyers. I don't think I can afford to not be playing more blockers, especially because I get to play another flying attacker by doing it this way. Yeah, so Primal Odin, you need to make sure you have infinite blockers up on Chapter 2, because if you don't block it on Chapter 2, you die. So if they have Blitzball Shot, we just lose the game. They give it Trample this turn and we're dead. Primal Odin is insane. I had this in 1 practice draft, and I don't think I lost a single game when I cast it. Yeah, if you've got the Trample Blitzball Shot, I die, period. So show me the Blitzball Shot, I guess. Go to 3. The thing about this is that makes it not like the worst in the universe is like if they had the Trample Blitzball Shot, even if they didn't have Odin, I would just be losing to them trampling over with the Chocobo, so it's not the biggest difference in the world. Okay, that is a bad draw. I am not drawing the Crystals Chosen if I don't pick that first. So we pick that, and then whatever 2 mana spell they leave us with, we'll take that. So that I can cast something this turn. And we are fully in the chump zone now. Oh, what did they get rid of? Oh, the Ranger Captain? Oh, that's okay. I guess I take the land to make sure I have crystals chosen, because I don't really care which one of these I'm playing, as long as I'm playing one of them. So just make sure I have crystals chosen next turn. Cool. Oh, there's a discard one card. I should have played the plains instead of the island, so that if they played the discard one, I could discard the island. I played the island instead because this one's hidden information, but that's the wrong way to think about it here. All right, I'm at 3 life, and I have an incredibly powerful spell if I just survive another turn. So let's just lock in to make sure I survive another turn. I'm dead to any 3 non-creature spells. Oh! Sir Conrad! Yeah, Sir Conrad's an incredible card. So we're I guess still not dead. I go to 1, and then if nobody has a creature on top, then I have 1 turn. Nobody had a creature on top. I'll go to 1. God dang it. If it weren't for Sir Conrad, this was so close to stable. I think this is just would be stable, period. All these blockers. But Sir Conrad locks it in. There's no way to not die to Sir Conrad now. Close. We even got them down to 9 here. Yeah. Sir Conrad is incredible in draft. And Saz's Chocobo turn 1. Really, really strong uncommons from our opponents. Keep us out of that one. We are 6-2. Luckily, though, we picked up a 1-up along the way. We've got 2 shots at the final boss, and we're going to need them. It is time for the final game of Magic. No matter what happens here, this will be the last game of the draft. And here we are for that last game of the draft with a horrifically bad opening hand. It's got a 7-drop in it, a single proactive play, and the proactive play needs blue mana that it doesn't have access to. That is a forced mull to 6. Now we have a 2 mana play, and then we wait for 5 mana, which is really awkward once again, but it is better than a 5-card hand, I think. Yeah. I don't like putting anything back, right? I don't like putting this back and then hoping to draw 2 lands within the next 4 draw steps. That is not the worst odds in the world with the next 4 draw steps. But then, like, if I put this back and I draw a land immediately, then, like, land 6 and 7 are just gonna suck unless I specifically draw the 1 7-mana play in the whole deck. It's a rough gamble either way we keep the hand. I'm gonna go for the 3-lander. I have 4 draw steps to draw 2 lands. And if I'm not drawing the lands, right, then I've had 4 draw steps of drawing spells, and the odds of those 4 spells costing more than 3 are really, really low with the way our mana curve is. At least a few of them will be castable and we'll be doing plenty of stuff still. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to discard one of these anyway. There's no way I can keep one of these over a land or a Monk's Fist. Probably need to get rid of Graha, because Shiva is just so immediately impactful. Gosh darn. Dougal dang. Get in there, Adelbert. Shinra. Rufus Shinra. Super strong card. 2/4 that spits out a 2/2 every time it attacks. It's a legendary 2/2. And it only makes it when they don't have 1 out. But it's still really good. I guess I get to move the Monk's Fist to Adelbert here. think even though they're going to be getting a 2-2 off the attack, it's better to send Adelbert in than it is to try to block against open mana when we're tapped out. There's too many combat tricks that could let Rufus eat Adelbert for free. So we've got quite the life total advantage, but they've definitely got the board state advantage here off of Rufus. It does look like our mulligan decisions this game were just completely irrelevant, because whatever I kept, I would have discarded the Hack Dies. I would have discarded land 4 or the 5-drop in the same position. What on earth is this? Oh, man. I'm getting hard deleted by the bonus sheet today. Well, this game. I always mix together today and this game. This game, bonus sheet auto wins it for our opponent. Yawgmoth is a ridiculous card by itself, but comboing it with Rufus Shinra is just unbeatable. They draw a card and kill one of my creatures for 1 life every time they sack a thing. Yeah, you got me. Yawgmoth is indeed a great magic card. And protection from humans. And protection from Adelbert, just to rub the salt in the wounds. That is magic for you. Yawgmoth just solos our deck. Even if they didn't have Rufus Shinra out here, we would lose this Yawgmoth. Unless we had like our removal in our hand immediately. It'd have to be our enchantment removal, I think, to kill Yawgmoth here, because Yawgmoth isn't tapped, so it couldn't be the 5-mana removal. I hope this is a mythic. It is. Man, it's a bonus sheet mythic, which means it's insanely rare. Now they just get to sack the Salvagers, but at least I trade Adelbert into something here. God, Yawgmoth is good. Oh. I'm good on that. 6-3 it is. Man, what a way to lose that last game. Just get Yawgmoth super hard, but this was still an excellent record for a deck that I thought was just like solid. So I'm fine with the 6-3 run here. I mean, now that I've played with the deck, now that I have seen how it can curve out, how these cards work together, I think this deck was super capable of a 7-win run. Now that I saw it in action, I don't know if I would have thought that. Just looking at the deck after the draft, I was like, yeah, this is just a reasonable looking deck. But this was a huge overperformer just as a deck as a whole. A lot of just great stuff going on here. Just curving out, the flyers were huge overperformers. The crystals chosen was just fantastic at the top end of the curve. We saw the one flaw of this card, which is how high that mana cost is, how hefty of a fee it is. One of our losses did involve a crystals chosen just being stuck in our hand until it was pretty irrelevant, but a lot of our wins were involving this going wide and buffing the whole board, so that was pretty sweet. But it's kind of just a lot of that incremental value, incremental card advantage that we were talking about when we drafted this deck that played so well, right? The delivery Moogles, constantly getting a second infantry off the first infantry, getting a couple cards off of a Shiva or a Graha, depending on the game, made sure that we were drawing enough cards to keep putting just a little bit more action on the board, a little bit more pressure on the board, while having a pretty aggressive mana curve. Played super, super sweet. Fought well above its weight class in terms of how well it looks on paper. But I think all of these cards are just deceptively solid cards, like the infantries, the Moogles. The uncommons both look pretty sick. The Wyverns look pretty sick. But everything really did its job today for a really solid run at 6 and 3 for 1,800 gems and 5 packs as our prize out. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.